ARCHIE, how decide? For me country, be their life. In my people, you're ready. Grandmas are steady. From bush to town, from market to yard. It don't matter strong, we hit it hard. Not straight, we go talk out. If they hide us, we go bring them. If you beg small, pull yourself. We must speak for them to keep on. Back to the farmer people. Oh. If you're not
Yeah, Fedra, meet yourself. You're saying something.
No,
You unmute.
we already have a guest speaker.
Yeah, but I think Mr. Wright should have told you guys because it was about 2 o'clock this evening. After when I testing, I will have Madame Ruth Todd. I'll be appearing this evening on the show.
Yeah, but we both
yeah,
we book ahead of time.
She already
We
here.
don't wait on the day. I know. On the project, yes, he was already booked ahead of time. So you gotta get in touch with me ahead of time.
Come again?
I said when you have someone you want feature, get the man ahead of.
No, I don't that ever send with the co-host.
No, but it was not state. You said today.
Yeah, it's today by
Well,
9 o'clock.
what Archie told me is that we have that coupon for the first hour, and then the next hour we have Joa Lady.
But usually things like that pass through me, then I know. But anyway, we have to just here. Let's go on.
We can still have the both of them. We can give her about 1 hour from now to 10, and then the second guest can pick up on.
It's too late now. It's too late now. Because he was promoted.
So what is the way forward now?
No, we'll deal with that Copa, and then in the future, things will let me know or actually myself usually before we have a guest, and we went through it today. So let's start the show. Mr. Nemo, introduce yourself to the guests, and we'll move on to the show.
Well, I'm George Jumbo. I'm one of the panelists here, and welcome to A Back to Differ. Thank you.
My name is Fred Smith. They call me Fred, the veteran Smith, and so I've been in the media for some time, and now we are operating from the southeastern region of Liberia, Zedru, Grand GEDEH County, and the other counties like Maryland, Nimba, and sometimes Ivory Coast. You can get us through your Facebook, YouTube, and Top 105.3 radio station. So without any delay, because our guest is a busy man, we're very fortunate to have him to be our guest. So Dr. Rockefeller Cooper, sorry for the time delay. You know, in the media, these things happen. but we have to move on. So usually I will introduce you, but just give a short bio of yourself.
Okay, well, Rockefeller F. Cooper II, as in my full legal name, a Liberian by nationality as well. I currently reside in the southern United States. Career-wise, I'm deeply involved into forensic death investigation within the private sector, where I work with families all around the United States, helping them to understand the cause of death of their loved ones and bringing some sort of closure to the process. I've been in the United States for over 2.5 decades now. I completed my undergrad university studies there at the Alabama Agriculture and Mechanical University, and then where I also started off and completed my first master's in biology as well, with a concentration in microbiology. And then I went out to the Caribbean for medical school, where I obtained my MD from the Windsor University School of Medicine. And then another master's was completed at the University of Florida through its College of Pharmacy, where I studied forensic science with a concentration in forensic death investigations. I'm well experienced and vast when it comes to post-mortem examination or autopsy per se. And I've been in this field for 10 plus years, and I've been using 10 plus as a benchmark. So um, here I am in good old Liberia. As we're speaking right now, it's good to be back home. And that's basically it. The fast version of who I am.
Thank you very much. I know we all in life, our journey, different path. When you were coming out as a young man in Liberia, you never thought you would be in a position that you would be focusing on dead body, whether forensic or medical, legal investigator, whatever you call the term. You never thought you would be doing that. What took you through that path?
So, actually, well, of course, going to medical school is something that I always wanted to do, growing up as a child, because I love sciences. But I got more into forensics after the death of my mother, because there were a lot of unanswered questions. And so I took that path and I never looked back. It has also been a coping mechanism having to deal with grief. And so basically it was a trade-off effect. The deeper I got into forensics, the more I was able to balance out psychologically, having to deal with uh, you know uh, grief as a whole. So that's basically what put me on that path. Initially, my goal was to go into surgery because I'm very good with my hands. But uh, you know, I was having my own issues trying to cope with her death, and then I got introduced to forensics. I remember it was a late night. I was watching something on TV. I got drawn into it. The next night, I continued, and then I just took a different turn. So I was working on my PhD as well in epidemiology, and then I told myself as well. I said, what can I do to make myself very distinct as a Liberian? And after completing, several academic hours of, the said program, when I got admitted into the forensics program at University of Florida, I just made the switch. Didn't care about how much time I have put in. I just made the switch, and I never looked back, and I've been pushing since. So here I am, a forensic medical legal death investigator.
So when we hear the word medical legal investigator, and we hear other terms like forensic, we hear other terms like uh, the pathology. Help us understand these different terms for our listeners.
Yeah, so basically, when we talk about, okay, so we got forensic, we got medical, we got legal, and we got investigation or investigator, because the investigator is the one that'll be doing the investigation, right? So those two words interchangeably, we know to investigate, you're looking into a matter. Then when we talk and when we talk about legal, okay, basically we're now looking at the law. And then medicine, medicine is coined within medical. So putting the two together, we're bringing in medicine and law. And then with forensic, we are looking to see, okay. So forensic, you came basically from the Latin word forensica, I believe, if my memory serves me right, where things were done in an open arena. So we're looking to investigate, and it is a unique type of investigation which has to be highly scientifically based. So if you're not scientifically inclined, it means that conducting such investigation is going to be an uphill battle. And putting things into more perspective, with my requisite training, I go to crime scenes. I don't do it quite often, but sometimes during my investigation, I have to visit crime scenes to study, see what deductions can be made from there. Apart from my academic knowledge, because I had to do, I had to study crime scenes as part of that. But work-wise, visiting crime scenes and then making deductions to compare with what would be seen at the post-mortem table. So during the autopsies, right? So if we're looking for staging of the crime scene, where we have to do reconstruction, if we're looking for bloodstain pattern, if we're looking for trace evidence, we're looking for biological materials or samples, and then and also to see if the body is at the scene, what can we tell? Okay, looking at the body as far as being able to make some sort of deduction as to what may have happened to this person, in this building or in this house. So that's basically it.
Before I bring in my other panelist, Dr. Numo, you've been coming to Liberia several times, and you also have been working within the United States. Take us through that transition from America to Liberia and what next.
Okay, so let me get some clarity. Yeah, so coming from the US to Liberia, as in while comparing how investigations are conducted, or what exactly are you asking?
How you
You
operated in the past and what you hope to operate in the future.
Well, so the primary goal is to ensure that there's a standardized format of death investigation in Liberia. Point number two, my goal is to also ensure that families have access to standardized death investigations when it comes to investigating the cause of death of their loved ones. In my opinion, death over the years, or the post-war Liberia, so to speak, has been quite incompetent as far as the poor quality of investigations that has been conducted, simply because standardized forensic principles have not been applied when it comes to investigating these cases. So, and we can look at cases, I mean, case upon cases, okay? And we can see the short, through the lens of a forensic investigator, we should be able to see the deficits. So basically, those are my goals. In the country, we have a situation as compared to the United States where you have coroners, okay, throughout throughout the United States, of course. But if we're to just narrow it down to the state, you have coroners for the different counties. But here in Liberia, there's only one coroner. Okay, you don't have people who are trained to conduct death investigation. They will go and do, I think it's called what, the 12 or 15-man jury panel, and whatever they say hold. Bear in mind that these people have absolutely no idea as to what death investigation is or entails. So that alone can tell you the level of bias and mishaps that are prone to occur during death investigations in Liberia. And I'm also open to training. So working with law enforcement if the need be, working with law enforcement to train death investigators, so that the process is disseminated across the country. It doesn't make sense, and it should not make sense for someone to leave from Monrovia, for example, to go to Grand GEDEH to go and do death investigation, and then they come back to Monrovia and they have to go back again. Or that person come to Monrovia, then they end up going to Lofa or some other remote part of the country. My vision a few years ago was to have trained death investigators that would serve as deputy coroners from a regional standpoint, and then would now train more people and have it disseminate to the county levels, and then we now go into the districts. So one, that means that the workload will be less, and we'll have a standardized, practice throughout the country. You don't have to wait for the golden ball to roll in from Monrovia. Monrovia is not Liberia, or Montserrado County is not Liberia. So I think, with that being said, that's basically it.
I know we have to have you come back another time for because you have rich information, and we wanted for this show to be quite a while. But since there were misunderstanding in terms of guests, so when the first half of the show we have you. So what I would do, let me go to my colleagues to ask questions, and then we'll come back to me to continue. So, Mr. Numa, any question for our guests?
Yes. I want to know. No. Are you a forensic investigator or pathologist?
I'm a forensic medical legal death investigator.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Now, um, in Liberia, have you performed or any death investigation in the past or currently?
Okay. If I understood you correctly, did you say, did you ask if I had done any form of death investigation in Liberia?
In Liberia, yes. I'm not talking about in the US now. In Liberia.
Oh, yes. I have investigated cases in the past, as in through my own, my own project. I've also collaborated with the coroner, and I did a post-mortem exam for him. I think that was back in 2021. Last year I did a post-mortem exam in Bangabon County on July 25th. Yeah, the day before the holiday.
Okay.
So yes.
Okay. The first one, I mean, maybe you don't feel comfortable to you may not feel comfortable to disclose the name of your of the person involved.
Wait,
May I ask the
the
first
line is breaking.
first
I'm not
investigation?
getting clearly.
Oh, maybe I need to go out and come in. I'm asking what was it? Who was the client? Who was the whose death you investigated the first time in Liberia.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So I cannot just provide the name, but I will give you what the situation involved a gentleman who was allegedly beaten and then electrocuted at his place of employment.
Yes.
So, but yeah, we're able to rule out that there were no foul play involved in his death. And then the second was a gentleman who um, basically about, let's say, about 4 years ago, he was he was murdered, and then it was stated that he was struck by a moving train. So the family refused to bury the body, and that body was in the funeral home for 3.5 years. So I did the exam, and I was able to rule out that his cause of death was not due to high speed velocity from being hit by a moving train, but rather he was physically assaulted and he died from his injuries.
Oh, the moving train issue. Oh, please explain how you determined that it was now a moving train based on a
Well,
train being
yes. So
uh,
okay, you're freezing, but I think I got the gist of your question.
okay, okay.
So so in forensics,
Mhm.
okay, we use scientific methodologies,
Okay.
and sandwiched between those methodologies, even though it is not seen or known, but common sensicality is a very important element that tends to exist. So if a person is struck by a train, and I'm saying this even though I am familiar with train related deaths,
Mhm.
okay, what was done to cover up, what was done accidentally, or suicide, I have that experience as well. But generally, if a person is struck by a moving train, the body is, the body is basically broken up. It's
Right.
not a situation where you're going to have just one broken bone in in that person's body, like a bone in the arm.
Mhm.
Okay, so um, so that alone, from just based on common sense,
Mhm.
anyone will have doubts, and that's exactly why the family refused to bury until, like I said, the body was in the funeral home for 3.5 years, right? And it would have probably been there longer had I not come to Liberia and been engaged on the subject matter. So, but when I was made aware of the case, I you know decided to look into it, and then when I was finally contacted to conduct an exam, so I basically knew what to look for. And so there were a lot of errors on the first autopsy that was done that were inconsistent with scientific principles. And I was able to lay all of that out for, the authority to see. And whatever the outcome is on that case, I really don't know. But it's impossible for him to have died from, a high velocity impact from a moving train. So, so that was that.
Thank
If
you.
I answer your question correctly, because I know there was a
Yes,
breaking.
you answer my question correctly because in
Okay.
Tennessee I was involved in an accident. They said I was moving 75 miles per hour, and according to the police now. And when they measure the skid mark, if you I was at the University of Tennessee, measure the skid mark, somebody that moving at 75 miles per hour, how long is skid mark supposed to be, they were short. And I didn't have a lawyer, I took push stuff to the to the court. I did engineering, took push stuff to the court, and I won the case. So that's why I was asking you. Okay, we recently had a death case. Did the government or the family reached out to you as a no investigator, no forensic investigator? I'm talking about Mr. Jackson or wife.
No, so the government did not reach out to me. His legal team did, but
Mhm.
it was just an engagement on the subject matter. I have not been opportune to examine the remains of the late Mrs. Jackson, Tony
Yes.
Jackson.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Straight,
Uh,
I rest my
yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Mr. Cooper, Rockefeller Cooper. Uh, to do the type of work you do, it will have to be collaboration or you being on the ground. So, what you have for us that you can tell us from now on what you will be doing in the future?
Yes, so my goal is because I'm actually working on a project, as in I'm trying to establish you know, my forensic entity, as in having a facility for the conduction of forensic post-mortem exams. So that alone is going to have me coming to making multiple trips to Liberia. And with that being said, if my services are needed, and whilst I'm in country, then of course negotiations can be done and I'm willing to render my services. If I'm out of the country and I'm needed, um, we can work out modalities around that to see how I can get to Liberia to also render my services. So basically, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm also bringing in academia, okay, so as to provide forensic training and knowledge for you know, basically different sectors within the country. So whether law enforcement, you know, student body, as in, you know, students within the science field, and other law enforcement apparatus.
See. So, for now on, when what you have done in the past, is there someone you collaborate with, or how do you your lab sample, how you conduct it, and how that is done?
Yes, so when I even in the US, yes, I do have partnerships with some other pathologists and also labs. So when I collect my samples, you know, after a post-mortem exam, I would normally send it to the toxicology lab if we're running, if toxicology is warranted in in that case. And then, as far as to establish histopathology or histopathological findings, tissue samples will be sent out to whatever pathologist that is being contracted for the case, so that we'll be able to come up with the microscopic diagnosis as well as the forensic examination findings to come up with a solid report. And so basically, that's how I do it.
You have a team on the ground that you work with.
No. So I work alone, but right now I am partnering with the AB Anderson Funeral Home so as to use as a facility to conduct my exams. But as far as having a direct partnership, no, I am looking to bring on board former law enforcement employees that I will now train into conducting field death investigation exams, and you know, we go on from there.
So, we look into the future, and for the time that we have on the show today, we look in the future. What would be the early estimate if everything goes well that we could see you operating functionally in Liberia? Not that you haven't made impact in the past, but people will begin to see your work and they can call upon you anytime. How soon you think that all can be put together?
So Third Eye Forensic Consultancy is actually up and running now. So, like I said earlier, when I talk about the case in Bangabong County that was done last year, that was done after the business had been registered. As far as Liberia is concerned, Third Eye is now a year and some weeks old. So um, we're ready to start rocking and rolling. It's just a matter of making the contact, and we go from there.
And this will be a question before we go to the line for callers to be involved, or Mr. Nemo can come up with another question or two before we go to the line.
Yes.
What you will bring to Liberia is very much important, but people always say affordability. For someone might marry who might lose her child, and they really want to go to the go deep to say who care her child. Sometimes the government might not help, or they might not give the information that would be necessary. How helpful will your organization help in these small cases of people who can't afford, or you could do your humanitarian work in bringing justice to these families?
Yeah, so there's always room for negotiation, and depending on the situation, negotiation could range anywhere from a very cool bottle of soft drink to a few dollars. So I'm not into this business to become a millionaire. Okay, I've been very fortunate and blessed in so many different ways that I have not forgotten, and I also remember that I too must return the favor. So um, there will be room for negotiations. Especially if I'm in country, it makes things a whole lot easier because now we're not talking about me coming from overseas. Okay. So is as far as the pricing is not going to be business as usual, quote unquote, as compared to how I do operate back in the US. I decided to take on this venture to ensure that such a system does exist in Liberia and that people are able to get the answers that they need. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to work for free. Before someone keep this video and say, but you said, that you would just do it. No, I'm saying that, we can negotiate. Now,
Okay.
you know, if the whole town got to sell one or two goats to do something, then that's it. So the next time that the person they supported will also be willing to sell some chickens, to help in their situation. But all in all, I'm here to help in any way, shape, or form. So so that, and when you look at the process of the autopsy itself, say for example, if a body was found near the river, right? And they assume that person drowned. Okay, the family cannot afford my service, but once I can prove that this person did not drown, or indeed this person did drown, now you have a form of closure. You see, if I show that the person drowned and looking at the forensic facts, then okay, we know that he drowned. If there are other circumstances involved, then we need to investigate further. So then they invest my part of the job stops there, and then law enforcement can now pick up the pieces and then to investigate further. So basically that's it.
Mr. Nemo, any question before we go to the line?
Yes, I have to make comment before I ask my question. I want to applaud his effort or his determination to train Liberians. When I was a chief operation officer of GAC, we got a forensic auditor from from Uganda that train not only GSC auditors, but people from finance ministry and all over the place. And the forensic auditor exam from here, US, they administer it there, and the passing rate was in the 90s. So as we speak, we have forensic auditors at the General Auditing Commission, at the Finance Ministry, and other areas, other places. So I thank you for that. Okay, the Bond County death, where they
Yes.
said the person was beaten and electrocuted, and your report said otherwise. What was the cause of the death?
Okay, now I don't know because you are breaking up, but I think you may have mixed up the facts. So there were two
Okay,
cases that I talked about.
okay,
One from 2021, that's where with the gentleman where it was alleged that he was beaten and
uh-huh,
electrocuted.
right.
So that one happened it happened in town in Monrovia. Okay.
Oh, okay,
Yes. The next one, yeah, that's fine. I know we're having issues with the line, so I will take time to repeat. The next one had to do with well with the issue in Bond County. It was last year, 2025.
hmm,
Okay. Yes. So he was the forensic exam shows that he was beaten and basically, the doers of the act thought that they could outsmart in the investigation. And so they took his body to his wife at night to tell her that a train had hit her husband,
hmm,
which, it was rejected, and rightfully so, because nobody in their right mind, I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that if train was to hit someone, the outcome would be quite devastating. So that was, that was that. And like I said, the body was not buried, right? The family opposed, and the body was in the funeral home for 3.5 years. So you can imagine, basically. And that was about it.
But I'm asking about the one with the electrocution or attached to it.
Okay.
What
Yes.
was what?
Okay. The one, the electrocution. What was that?
Oh,
What was what? You're freezing.
okay. I'm
I didn't
talking
get the question.
about.
Yeah.
I'm
What
talking.
was?
I'm asking about the the guy or the client that he beat, and then say he was electrocuted. That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Know your
It was
finding.
alleged.
Yes.
My findings. Yeah. I believe, yeah, he died from a pulmonary embolism, as opposed to what was being said about him being eaten and electrocuted. So when a person is electrocuted, there are telltale signs that we come across as well, and
Mhm.
none of that was I mean was and there was no trauma to the body to support that he was beaten or assaulted in any way, shape, or form.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I think we can go to the line now. Mr. Smith.
Okay. Uh, Alice, please take us to the line.
All right. So yes, and of course, I say this evening here on top 105.3. Folks, if you've been following the show, if this is the first time, we let's also welcome you to the program I beg today for here on top 105.3. You listen to our guests here this evening while we're in the issues. You listen to panelists asking questions. Maybe there are other questions that don't go to your favor. There are things that he said you need clarity on. It's about time that you put in your calls and let hear from you 0776-105-105, 881-14-3504, 0776-105-105, 881-14-3504 are the numbers supported through here this evening, and you will be live from the program at Bet to D4, 0776-105-105, 881-14-3504. We go on the line and pick up this first caller. Hello.
Hello?
Hello, you're near. Where do you join us from?
Yeah, my name is Mark Doru, Mark Tete Doru. I call you from my palace in around Samu Kota 80 Mission.
Mr. Doru, welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. I just want to find out this. His work that he can do, the forensic work. As for an example, if he's called by the government to carry on a piece of job to do, and then will he give, maybe something happens somewhere, like this little grower Scott, where they say a girl got killed in your house, and all like that. How can he give his report back to the government, which is an independent report? How he cannot be coerced by another person to give that report? How transparent, how independent or transparent the job can be? How reliable the work can be?
All right. Thank you for being part of the show. I'm going to respond to that.
Yes.
0776.
Can I respond now or
No, we take calls and then we'll come back to you.
Okay.
0776-105-105, 881-14-3504, 0776-105-105, 881-14-3504. You're going to be live here in the program. I beg to differ. Let's hear from you. You listen to our guests here this wonderful evening. It's about time that we hear from you. If you have a concern, maybe you got to understand things from him. It's about time that you call the show. Yeah, because if you even go, you will not have that opportunity to have him again or maybe ask a question. So that thing will just remain on your mind. So the best time to post a call is now, 776-105-105, 881-14-3504, 0776-105-105, 881-14-3504. We pick out 2 or 3 calls and then we go back to the panelists and continue on the show. 0776-105-105, 881-14-3504 are the numbers so put you through. You're going to be live here on the program. I bet today for let's hear from you. The line is open. While we await you, let's take our things some and keep it rolling at the same time.
We ready to fight, no palava, no fear inside. No talking, I go high. Call Mr. George Noble, bring that sense.
All right, we hold it there and I bring in this person. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, Nia, where do you join us from?
This is Mr. Segonda. I'm calling you from Chase.
Mr. Gona, welcome to the show.
Yes. I want to know from the pathologist whether when their work is completed, is it made public or can be confidential? Because at times, when things are not made public, there's a tendency that people can play on it. Whether his job is very, very open and free, that it cannot be temporary or intimidated by the power that be. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being part of the show. We pick up one more coin, then we go back so that you can be able to respond to all of the questions. 776-105-105, 881-14-3504, 776-105-105, 881-14-3504 are the numbers supported through this evening, and you're going to be live here on the program. I beg to differ. 0776-105-105, 881-14-3504. We pick up 1 or 2 and then we go back. If not, we go back so that you can be able to respond to the question.
you wrong, she go say ah. See how decide. For me country with the light. In my people, you're ready. Grandpas are steady, steady. From push to down, from market to yard. If the matter strong, we hit it hard.
776-105-105-881-1435-042 Studio Line tonight because you're going to be live here on the program about today. For let's hear from you. You've been following the show, you've been listening to the guests here. It's about time we hear from you. 776-105-881-1435-04 and you're going to be part of it here days. Evelyn on top 105 brand 3. 776-105-105-881-1435-04. All right, so we have to leave it like this. We can't keep our guests waiting. So we leave it like this, go back to the panelists, and then the guests will be able to respond to that all of the questions you guys ask. So just keep listening and don't you go away. Mr. Smith is back to you guys.
Yeah. Okay. Mr. Rockefeller Cooper, answer those 2 questions. And then from there, you can give your final comment. We'll bring you back on Saturday if you have a chance, a longer division where all our panelists will be here and we'll go in there because this subject matter is very much important for the Liberian people. So we'll bring you back on Saturday if your time will permit.
Okay, we'll see. So just a form of correction. So my title is Dr. Rockefeller Cooper because indeed there is a Mr. Rockefeller
So,
Cooper.
Mr. Smith, before you just go, let's just strengthen this person. Yeah, let's just strengthen the person to make it 3.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, your name. Where do you join up from?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm Jim William. I'm sleeping, but I just wake up and follow with the show, but I know.
Okay, so just be following. Yeah, thank you. Just be following the show.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, you can go
Thank
ahead.
Thank you for not calling your title doctor, because it's a word-earned title. So sorry on my part.
Well,
So
yeah, but I'll
go ahead,
correct
doctor.
you because there is a Mr. Rockefeller Cooper. Is it so that people will not get it confused? Also, so yes. So can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. You can respond to the
Okay.
caller question.
Okay, good. Okay. So now I'm gonna go with the second before the first. So actually, regarding the Justices Scott's case, as in Gloria Musu Scott and Charlotte Musu, I did do 2 write-ups. So if you were to go to Google right now and just put in Dr. Rockefeller Cooper and then you put a plus sign, Charlotte Musu, you will come across my write-ups. There were 2 publications that I did because of errors that I saw during the whole process. Okay, so there were technical errors that were made during that death investigation process, and somebody needed to speak out, and that was what I did. So you can go online and check it out. The first person I believe wanted to know the question had to do with my integrity. Yes, so I cannot be compromised. I do not subscribe to that game show at all. I go in to do a professional piece of work, and that's what I do. And after that, I be on my merry way, and I'm on to the next case. So that I can assure you that will not be an issue at all. And I think that's it. We didn't have a third question. But if you have any other follow-up questions, even you, Alex, if you have any question, I can answer.
What I would do, Mr. Rockefeller, Sandy said we have another guest waiting for us. I will allow you to give your final comment, and we'll bring you back on Saturday when the 4 panelists will be here, and we'll go detail. We'll put on the screen everything what you do, because that's what I intended to do today, but I can't do it. So Saturday we'll have everything. We'll break down the whole profession and people can call in and call as long they want to call. So Saturday we'll have you back.
Okay, yeah, we'll
So
see how
so
it
just
plays.
give your comment for those
Thank you.
who listen to you today.
Thank you. I want to thank you first before you give your parting comment. I thank you very
You're most
much.
welcome.
Uh, you are very professional, and I feel that people know back home they don't know that some of them do not know there's something called ethics.
Mm-hmm.
The area you're going through, the area I gone through, the area I know Mr. Smith gone through, and Mr. Nipe that just arrived. The area that we went through, we learned ethics. And there was some innate ethics in us too. So it expanded our ethics. So thank you,
Right.
for the professional presentation. I rest my
You're most
case.
welcome.
And
Okay.
Veteran
Mr.
Smith,
Nibo,
recognize.
Mr. Nibo, you can briefly interact with our guests because we have another guest coming on and we can't
Oh,
continue the
no, no,
show.
no, 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 no. I, I've learned it, and I'll just say, introduce Mr. Nipe, to our
Yeah,
guest. Uh-huh.
yeah, that's
Thank you.
what I plan to do. Mr.
Thank
Nipe, meet our guest. You came at this time, and from there he will make a final comment. But
you.
we're
Yes.
trying to get him back on Saturday.
But I don't know the guest name. How do I introduce myself?
Sorry, Dr. Rockefeller Cooper,
Yes,
and
sir.
he in the business of metal college.
No, once you call that name, that name is a famous name from my friend Rockefeller Cooper, who graduated from Rick's Institute. And I
Yes,
do
so
know
that
his son. Yes, let me carry on,
yeah, so
please.
that yeah,
I
so that
do
would be my
know
father.
I do know his son is a forensic pathologist and a class A forensic pathologist, a citizen of the Republic of Liberia, and I respect him most highly. Mr. Rockefeller Jr., you are like a son because Rockefeller was a famous basketball player, one of the top notch basketballer of Liberia, and I know him very well. When I was at St. Patrick's High School, he was at Rick's Institute. It is my pleasure seeing you on our show, A Baby Bag to Differ. I am a diplomat by profession and an administrator. I work with the Liberian Produce. I have worked with the Liberian Produce Marketing Corporation. We have Freeport of Monrovia, where I serve in three distinct offices: quality control, import, and then I became the deputy resident assistant manager for East Ganta Estate project in Nimba. From there, I came to Liberian Cocoa and Coffee Corporation, and I served there under the late Chacha Dennis was manager, and the LCCC was a subsidiary of the Liberian Produce Marketing Corporation. I thought to be like you, where I work with Class Pharmacy as a pharmaceutical representative for A.H. Robbins, formerly of 1407 Cummings Drive, Richmond, Virginia. to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I was sent to the United States of America, where I serve as the political and consular officer of our embassy near Washington, D.C. That's a bird eye view of who I am. And annexed to that, I have played football like your father, and we went to Ghana, and we live at the Legon University. And so it is for me a profound pleasure to be on the same show with you as a panelist. You are welcome, sir. And to the radio audience, his father is a friend of mine, but he is a qualified pathologist, and we can accept his opinion based on the experiences he has had in doing this job. Welcome to the show, sir.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Nippy. Yeah, and I've heard a lot about you as well. So, yeah, so the name also rings a bell. But just a little caveat. So most times, so I'm actually a forensic medical legal death investigator, even though I work very close, or should I say parallel, with forensic pathology. Though I also had to study forensic medicine and forensic pathology as a study or as a subject. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, so that just no clarity. So before somebody after the show go and say, well, you say you are this and somebody know you as that. So, but yeah, but we do work hand in hand, and I'm glad that you followed me in the past and some of the work that I've done. But with that, all of that being said, let me first and foremost say thank you ever so much for inviting me, Mr. Smith, and I will see how best I can avail myself on Saturday. Let's just as we communicated, please let's just do the same, just to make sure, because in Liberia, anything can happen. So
Mhm.
just to make sure, and once we can, definitely I will do. If not, I will owe you a special edition where we can discuss cases, ideas, my opinion on cases, how they should have been handled to come to a logical conclusion.
Mhm.
And we can do it. We can do a lot, because even from the questions that your some of your callers had, I can tell that people have been eager to have a lot of questions answered. So so either way, I would, like I said, we'll see how we can work something out, bottom line. But I'm very grateful to to have been a part of this unit tonight. And Third Eye Forensics is now in Liberia to stay. There's no going back, because we actually, we left it. We didn't leave the US per se, but we extended. We extended our footprint to Liberia, and I did this basically because I had to ask myself every time we had questionable, mysterious deaths in the country. So you are here in the US, you're helping other families. What you can do here, there are other people that can do it, but you have that lacking in Liberia. Do you think that you can try to contribute? So
Mhm.
I started this on my, basically on my own. There's no help or support from anyone. It is just my sole desire to see Liberia do better. We cannot have, as the first independent republic in Africa,
Mhm.
yeah, it makes no sense for us to not have, or to feel the impact of death investigation. Okay, so and I based on that, I decided to see how best I can get something set up. It started slowly, but we are getting there, and the goal is, if I can help just one family, even one family a year, I would say that I've done well. So, but thank you all ever so much for having me, and at least Liberians tonight can also know that gone are the days where you were told to bring in your own specialist and then you're trying to figure out who you can bring, especially when it is not affordable. Okay. But with me being a Liberian citizen, and a person who has a kind heart as well, I'm pretty sure that I might be able to help you in a little bit. So, with that being said, I would like to thank you all ever so much, and I look forward to being on this platform again. So, thank you all
Well,
very much.
Mr. Rockefeller, let me say thank you and forgive me for not coming on the show because I would have loved to hear you talk on the current issue about the Mrs. Jackson,
Mr.
my former, yeah, but
Mr. Nibe.
regrettably, I've had my hands on certain things, and I just came in while you are going out of the door. But I look forward to a future airing of this program where you will be present. And I want to say thank you so much for the clarification that you made, so that people cannot be saying one
Yes.
thing, say Mr. Nipe call him this, and but the man say no, he's not. So thanks for that clarification, sir.
Emotional. Yes.
So thank you on
Okay,
behalf of
folks.
our management and staff. Thank you for coming, accepting the invitation, and we look forward to
Most
work with you, either coming back Saturday or another convenient day. Thank you very much. We have learned from you today, and we'll continue to learn from you as we go on. Thanks for your company. Tear Eyes. I mean, I like that name, Tear Eyes. But another
Oh,
time we'll
I
ask
call
you
my
how you did better,
children.
how you develop that name. It will be for another show. But
No,
since we have another
I can
guest,
tell you right off the
no,
bat.
no,
We're discussing
Mr.
later.
Nippe, we have a guest waiting. We want to respect the other guests
I
waiting
know.
and been patiently. So we'll do another show to bring other people who want to know that answer to come when we bring him on the next time. This place can be crowded. Call us with call as anytime we're promoting Mr. Cooper. So thank you for coming.
Okay, thank you all very much. Okay, good night.
Good
Okay.
night.
Okay,
Okay. That
good
have
night
been
now.
Dr. Rockefeller Cooper, Liberia own, who wants to give back, and hope you have enjoyed, and more will be coming in the future. So, Alex, everything up to you for our next guest.
Yeah, thank you so much for the first phase of the program. I bet today for tonight. So the next guest is coming in. Yeah, she will soon be here. She asked her she's making her way in, and she will soon be here. Mr. Nibe, welcome to the show.
Thank you so
Thank you
much,
so much,
Alex.
Alex.
My dear
My
brother,
dear
Mr.
brother, Mr.
Numbo,
Numbo.
how
So
are you
while
today?
waiting, you can play our team.
Um, I'm doing good. Mr. Nipe, doing pretty good.
All right.
All right.
It's somewhat too hot here today.
I tell you
I
that
tell you
true.
that true.
And you, Mr.
And you,
Smith,
Mr. Smith,
how are you?
how are you?
Let's start the
Let's
second
start
half
the
of our
second half
show.
of our show.
I'm all right.
I'm all right.
I went through the
I went through the
procedure
procedure
well,
well,
so I'm going through
so
the
I'm going
recovery
through the
stage.
recovery stage.
4 days.
Oh,
Oh,
that's splendid.
that's splendid.
We had you in
We
our
have you in
prayers.
our prayers.
Yes. God will be with you.
Mr. Nemo, today you passed on now, eh?
Oh yeah, Pastor. It's just that when it comes to this your prosperity, prosperity gospel are not in there.
Your voice matter so. When the issues get hot, when the debates get tough, When opinions collide and the truth must rise, this is the program where voices are heard. I beg to differ. I beg to differ. Hosted by Sheku Koroma, co-host Archie Wright, produced by Alex D. Wulu. Every broadcast night from 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. The problem time is here. To 10 p.m. We connect with our media colleagues, cause that area live updates from River G County, Colby County, Nimba County, Grand Bassa County, and other counties across the area. We bring you real updates, real stories, real voices. From 10 p.m., the discussion begins. We bring in powerful guests to break down the issues that matter most. With our strong panelists, Mr. George Newbo, Fred the Veteran Smith, no hiding. Politics, governance, big updates, national issues that affect you. If you disagree, speak.
I hope the guests did not go back home.
Because on this show,
I think maybe she in the studio.
Oh, okay.
But we cannot remain silent. We could be discussing other issues because something was sent in the chat box.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
So welcome to the second half of the show. Soon the guests come. Yeah, the guests come.
No, she already left. So Mr. Ra has spoke with her so we can reschedule her for another time. Because yeah, she's still out and then she complained because she didn't come with her car, so she need to go home. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a tough.
What a bummer.
But we can improvise because you see the audience listening. You can't keep them in suspense.
Okay, Mr. Nippo, what we do, the veteran will do something that he haven't done before. We keep on with the subject matter, and I will beg my brother if he can come back. So be discussing with Mr. Numbo what you have learned so far, Mr. Nippe, and I will come back.
Okay. My issue is with the lawyers objecting Oluba going to the Supreme Court. Then we have three equal branches of government. And the legislature or the House of Representatives have their own rules. And you cannot run to come and deal with legislative issue. Why are you leaving the rule of the House of Representatives? If the government had come in and charged, you can call about with treason. His lawyer will fight to go to the court. So that is my take. And it's not here. And
Mr. Newmo,
yes.
can I break you just for 1 minute? As I stated, the veteran, they remove your phone. The veteran usually don't do it, but because they respect the veteran and respect Mr. Newmo and Mr. Nippy, Honorable Nippy, the guests will violate all ethical code and come back and continue the dialogue in a few minutes, 2 minutes or 3 minutes. So, Mr. Newmo, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. But I made my case, and I want to know from either Honorable or Alex or the veteran. I feel that it was wrong for Kabila, former associate justice, to even go to the house in the committee room to say he pleaded for and then today on to Supreme Court. What is going on in there now? So that is my thank you.
Mr. Nemo, you won't wait in until our guest come up?
No. While we're waiting for the guest, so when the guest comes,
Okay.
I'll get a medical man. You know, politician. You and honorable Alex. Yeah, you got a politician.
So someone got the audio, they got the cut, so we can have a quality sound. When it's time for you to speak, you can come on. Mr. Newmo, you brought a very interesting. When the police were trying to in the legislature to investigate Representative Yeka Koluba, and he walked off.
Alex, please mute yourself.
Yeah, he walked off. He said he need a lawyer. So he needed a lawyer. Oh, our guest here. Okay, so move on. So for the public who just might be joining up for the first time, since we have you for the second half, could you reintroduce yourself, Dr. Rockefeller Cooper, who you are, your journey, and where you are now, so they can know it, and we'll continue on the interview.
Okay, so once again, everyone in Radio Land, I'm Dr. Rockefeller F. Cooper II, a Liberian by nationality. I currently reside in the United States of America, though I am presently in Liberia. And I happen to be a forensic medical legal death investigator working in the death industry. And my primary goal is to conduct forensic postmortem examinations so as to establish the cause of death of individuals. And my services are normally or usually sorted out by families who are interested in understanding the cause of death of the loved ones. Now, my job is quite distinct because families tend to rely on someone like myself, especially when the coroner has ruled the death of their loved one as natural, which is a clear indication that that body, as in the deceased, will not be transferred to the county coroner office or medical examiner office for a forensic post-mortem examination, thus giving families only one option, and that is to consult a private forensic investigator. So basically, that is my lifestyle in the United States. However, out of love of country, I have decided to come to Liberia and to establish a branch of my entity in Liberia so as to address the issues of um, quality death investigation, which is lacking. And also, to make Liberians know that they don't always have to deal with the stumbling block that has been placed before them in the past years, which has to do with them having to find someone out of the country to come and examine the loved one, which basically is just a way of saying the case is closed because these people cannot afford such a service as far as paying for it directly out of pocket. Now, how did I get to this point? So after the demise of my mother, I got very fascinated with death investigations. And that's just because of the numerous questions that were unanswered. So while I was in medical school, I also started my master's at the University of Florida, where my primary focus was in forensic science with a concentration in forensic death investigation. Uh, in medical school. So by name, I am a graduate of the Windsor University School of Medicine. And before then, when I transferred to the United States in 2001 from the Cotton University College at the time, as it was called, I did complete my bachelor's degree at the Alabama A&M University, or Agriculture and Mechanical University. And after that point in time, I also matriculated into the graduate department where I was able to obtain my first master's in biology with a concentration in microbiology. And that was in 2006. So I've been very deep into death investigations. I've worked with several entities that has to do with death investigations in the United States, where we serve our respective jurisdictions. And once again, I decided that Liberia deserves better. And so that's why basically I'm here to contribute towards the betterment of the nation through my own way. So with that being said, I think that's a full scale version of who I am, which was a little more extensive than the first round.
Will you go over the name of your company so Mr. Nippy can come and get a history behind it? Because that's where we left off.
Yes. So the name of my entity is called Third Eye Forensic Consultancy LLC. So Third Eye, and that is the name of it. We've been
Let
around
Mr.
now.
Nippy, let Mr. Nippy try to interpret it. If he's wrong, then you come and correct him. That's how we do it. Mr. Nippy?
Well, I don't think he would differ because he must have. Thank you very much for the introduction. And The third eye rings a bell to me because I've read the monks from Tibet, uh, Sarampa, I forgot his last name, where he has several literary works, You Forever, The Third Hour, The 13 Candles, Lumsan Rampart, that's the name. And the third eye deals with not your physical senses, but your spiritual way of gaining extra opening of the mind. So I read that. I read that some years ago, and 13 candles and all those things. So when he talk about the third eye, my old man ran straight to the Tibetan monk who wrote this book about the third eye. And so I call my children first eye, second eye, third eye, and fourth eye, respectively. Because the third eye is something that is a development, is a spiritual development of the human mind. And when you hear most people say, when you use your third eye, your chances of getting into problem is very, very, very minute or slim. Because the third eye draws into your spiritual being. And when you are in, because we are human beings, and when you are in that state of mind and exercising the third eye, your chances of, you become investigative in a way. You become investigative in your thoughts. You don't just hear yes and you say yes is what it is. You try to evaluate what the yes is. You go beyond the perimeters of what that yes might be. So that's what I wanted to just, when he said the third eye, I said, oh, maybe he read the book of Dr. Ramsan Rampart. These were metaphysics and all that kind of stuff. The 13 candles, you live forever. Like matter is changes from one substance, or it can never be destroyed.
Yeah.
When we die, while we are in that grave, a whole lot of things happen. And Dr. My distinguished son, I will call him, can speak to that because that is what he learned, is in that area. I am not in the area, but once I heard about it, my mind was provoked to say, oh, I know about what it is. So he would tell us what happened when the person dies. So let me leave it with the competency of
that's good. So Dr. Rockefeller, you have someone who knew your father, and
Yes.
he's reflecting on the title of your company. Is he closer, or he left us something, or what?
No, he's close. So he basically he's parallel with as to the reason or reasons behind the name Third Eye Forensic Consultancy. So basically, over the years, working with different entities prior to starting my company, which basically Third Eye was given birth to in 2021. Okay, during the heat of the pandemic. Now I work with other agencies. I work with other pathologists, others at the state and county levels. My perception was seen as a threat because I always saw things from that angle that nobody else was fortunate to see them from. Okay, because is speaking for the dead is very challenging.
Mm-hmm.
You are the last voice. So, and because of that ability, I found myself getting into trouble because people thought that I was trying to outshine them as opposed to appreciating the fact that we are solving a case. So, to make a long story short, when I sat down to my and asked myself what would be a befitting name based on my character and my talent. So, third eye came in as to not just having it just as a talent, but to actually, speak it out. So that's why we
Mm-hmm.
have Forensic Consultancy LLC. And I can tell you, over the years, the type of cases that I've been involved with and the resolutions, judges have applauded me for work that I've done, for clients, as well as also serving as what the legal men would call amicus curiae, meaning a friend of the court, where you help the court to understand. Okay, especially sometimes, because judges can be tough. Why do you need to review evidential materials? If you cannot convince the judge, you're not going anywhere. And for me, I have a 0% failure. None of my clients, uh, even though they were convicted, but it was just on a temporary basis, so to speak, because after the facts were reviewed, were processed and released from, whether just being released as in completely exonerated or even released on up to the, onto the attorneys pending trial. But there's a God-given talent that I have, and I'm doing my utmost best to use it every day. So, so that's it as far as third eye is concerned.
And let's go right into the second half of the show. Mr. Nipper was not here. You said you would be
Okay.
using former police officer or people with legal ground help to train them. Could you just elaborate more because that caught my attention and I will also catch Ms. Honorable Nippy
Yes.
also concerned.
So yes. So here's the problem, Mr. Smith. There's no certified death investigator in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Law enforcement carries out death investigation based on bits and pieces of past experience that they may have or what they think it should be, and what they think they should do that's going to lead to further investigation. But
Mm-hmm.
you need to be able to decipher certain facts that you're presented with. And of course, when I say law enforcement, it's just because they've been there. Not everybody is comfortable being around the dead,
Mm-hmm.
but there's people in the healthcare, or like I said, law enforcement, because since this is a private business, let me just branch off a bit. So this was my initial goal. Once upon a time, when I had engaged the government of Liberia, the goal would have been to train death investigators to serve the country, like I mentioned during the first half of the show, on a regional basis. And then we're going to disseminate to the county and then into the districts. At the same time, I was willing to teach forensic medicine at the medical school so that students would get the, the, the minimum, at least when it comes to forensic medicine. Like, what do you do at the hospital setting whilst you are there? And let's say, for example, a body is dropped off, or even if a person was assaulted and they were brought to the hospital but they succumbed to their injuries, what do you do as a medical staff? The problem is that most of these people will not know what to do forensically because they have not had any standardized forensic education.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Mm-hmm.
that. Then also, I was willing to teach at the law school so that the students will have an idea on principles of forensic science and death investigation, so that lawyers, and that course was going to be open to judges, magistrates, law students, paralegals, whatever it is. Okay. And this helps because when I followed the Gloria Scott case concerning the death of Shalom Musu, all I could see was a consistency of record burdening. So basically, for a layman's perspective, instead of having 1 inch of documentation, okay, as in, because whoever it is that is basically speaking, they are being recorded, right? Like in the States, we have the stenographers, so everything is being typed. So basically, instead of having 1 inch of document from that, from that debacle that'll be going on between lawyers, you could end up having 10 inches because they're going in circles and not addressing the main thing. You see? And I don't think it should be based on who knows the judge or who can talk the loudest. Okay. But at the time, my vision was not appreciated. So, of course, as a Liberian citizen, I'm entitled to gainful employment in my home country. So I decided that, well, you can start your own private thing and then to see how it goes. So that's how all of that came about. As far as me wanting to train people, it is against that backdrop. So to start off at a small number and then see how things pick up. But I will be training at least 1 to 2 um, individuals with law enforcement background. If I can have someone preferably from the CID or CSD as it is called now, that would be okay. So that's that.
Okay. Mr. Nippers, since you were not here the first round, I just will give you the opportunity to start the questioning for the second round.
Well, thank you very much. I don't know whether you were in the country when a famous case was commenced. It had to do with a little girl called, and my mind is on rest, how that case ended. And then we had a subsequent case. And I've been wondering why these cases were swept under the carpet or the way they ended. The reasons are so profound. In my case, I have girls, and I'm fond of them, and because they are the weakest of the two sexes. The two cases in mind, I don't know whether you were attached to them or you had come into doing your own investigation. The first one is Inja Toba. Inja Toba, my understanding is, was a 14-year-old girl, or 15, as the case might be. And the story surrounding it, as a former police officer, criminal investigator, and who did a little bit of homicide investigation, I was not clear on the circumstances how Inja Toba died. And there had been several questions in my mind. Why would she, or what would it be said that Inja Toba hung herself? Why would it be said that in that tub when Inja Toba was not floating? Because for somebody to hang themselves, that person there has to be a space between the platform or the bottom of that surface where the person uses a latch or a rope or a belt or their own shirt to be hung. Because I witnessed hanging when Justin Moloka Obi and several others were hanged at the South Beach prison. Immediately they put the slide off, they were suspended. And the news above them strangulated them. And that was how they passed. So if you were in that investigation or were not privileged to have been a part of the investigation, do you have any knowledge about the death of, or any information pertaining to what happened to India Toba? Or have you ever heard about a case concerning a little girl of 14, between 14 and 16 years old, who died somewhere in the Ghana area named India Toba?
Yes, to answer your question, Mr. Nippes. So, I actually did some write-ups on that case. That was wow, we're talking about over 10 years ago. So, yes. So the problem is that the way in which the case was handled. Okay, in my opinion, mistakes were being made on both sides. Both, okay, from the state as well as the defense counsel, and that's because there was there was a lacking of the element of forensics. So yes, you can bring. I think that case had about 3 or 4 pathologists involved for doing autopsies at different times. But you see, what people don't know is that the autopsy is not the golden key per se. The autopsy is just a component of the investigation. You see, but of course, that is something that is not yet understood in Liberia. So there was an issue with the way. So basically, technically speaking, it was, and this is coming from a forensic standpoint, it was hard to prove if the individuals charged were actually guilty or innocent. And of course, if you're dangling in the middle, then I think there's an adage in law where it says that it is best to let what something about, I think, what a guilty man go free versus holding the innocent, something like that. So at the end of the day, the case went the way it did, but I will have to find those documents because I actually it was my write-up that was used by defense counsel with the ECOWAS court to help set the defendants free. So there were issues, the post-mortem examinations, there were issues with it. I mean, that case was mishandled. Okay. So that's, and this is one of the reasons why is one of the reasons why I have decided to have my services rendered, because I could stay away, but then you ask yourself, but where is Liberia heading? And we cannot have a country and such services, as in death investigation services, are not available, especially in the private sector. Everybody wants to work for government. If government does not hire you, then you think that the government doesn't like you. But the government cannot employ everyone. And the government is also not forced to work with everyone. So as a citizen, if you can create your own space to operate, then you do so. And that's exactly what I have done. So and just like you, I have followed cases over the years, and I mean, I can, if I start now, we'll be on until tomorrow morning. So, but yeah, cases have been mismanaged over the years.
So will you attribute that to the scene being tampered with, where pieces of evidence were destroyed? Will you look at the injured? Because you said that on both sides there were errors.
Yes. So from actions taken, so here's the thing, Mr. Nippy. Both sides will run to the autopsy findings. Okay.
Mm,
But you have to understand, well, you must first of all understand what an autopsy is. Then you
mm,
need to understand who is doing the autopsy, as in the qualification, because there are two types of autopsies that are done. You
mm,
have your clinical based autopsy or hospital based autopsy, and then you have your forensic autopsy, which has
mm,
to do with medical legal death investigation. Okay.
mm,
So um, you got to have those basically, the understanding of those under your belt in order to know how far you're going with your investigations. And I
mm,
think that the way the cases were held, I mean, were handled, there's a problem with it. Now, a lot of people said that a 14-year-old cannot hang themselves, so which is not true.
mm,
Okay, we must look at what was there an intent. Now, there's also a difference between hanging and strangulation.
mm,
You see, but people just think that when you have a, let's just say, rope around your neck, then it means that it's hanging dead. No, because people can also strangulate themselves accidentally.
mm,
So there are factors to look into, and that's why investigations are warranted in these type of cases.
mm.
But hopefully, we'll have a new day in Liberia to where we can appreciate some of the things that we as Liberians are trying to do in the country. No, yes.
The fact that this child, and the alleged perpetrators, so to speak, the child dies, and people in the public whose minds are unclear given the circumstances, and they are still saying, well, look here. Apparently, this child was murdered for some unspecified reasons, giving the kind of true or untrue stories that were circulating within the domain of the public. If there were to be thought, a second thought meaning, some people come up with the funding and say, look, we want the child to be exhumed to actually determine whether it was strangulation or whether it was hanging. Would you want to be a part of that investigation to actually come up with a definitive reason surrounding how she died, why she died, forensically, such that laid this matter to rest? For a layman such as I, we won't want to be a part of that.
No, and here's why. For one, the body has undergone multiple autopsies. Two,
Mm-hmm.
yes, and then point number two, it's been a very long time now since she passed away, given
Mm-hmm.
the environmental conditions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much of a body is there to examine.
I see.
Two, tissue samples are no longer viable to conduct any kind of investigations.
I see.
And then, with postmortem changes that has taken place on the body, up to date as we speak, another autopsy will not be warranted, especially given the cause of death. If it was something where maybe we suspected that she was shot to death, then that's something different.
Mm.
Yeah.
So something like carbon tighting would not be able to verify the circumstances on which she died.
No, not at this point.
Not at
Because
this
this girl, I
point.
think that you understand about what, three different autopsies, different
Mm.
doctors did different things with tissue samples. But now everything has basically, I mean,
Now,
dissipated, so
granted,
to speak.
granted that at the hospital, instead of it being a coroner, there's a forensic pathologist who has a specialty or specialized in that area, and conclusively said this person died because of the neck bone was broken by the force of the rope or by someone strangulating them, and then but that means the person became a deceased. Would such a medical finding uh, require an additional autopsy, or would it be something that the court can use as is evidence in prosecuting whoever is responsible for the death of that person?
Well, yeah, reports can be used, but basically time is of the essence.
Mm.
And so because I mean, I've been involved with several exhumation cases.
Okay,
Okay, and yeah, so you get in there, and there's basically nothing for you to work with.
I see.
Yes, so but when if it's like shooting cases,
Shooting case,
and
okay.
it's yeah, that's now it's something different.
Even if it took 20 years, can the body be exhumed and you can establish that it was due to shooting?
Oh yes, because now that
Okay,
comes with the wound pattern, analyzing the wound pattern,
okay,
because you're now looking at the location, direction of the projectile, right? Because at that
okay,
point in time, your goal is to make it make sense.
okay,
And if the ducks don't line up, there will be no quacking. So
okay.
yeah,
And my last question would be on the Florence Copper.
Florence
Within
Cooper.
the public spheres, there is this belief that Florence's case was swept under the carpet. There was a foul play. The
Which case
belief
was that?
Florence Cooper.
No, I know I heard the name, but what was the situation surrounding her death? I'm not sure
This,
if I heard that.
as was reported in the newspaper, Florence died somewhere around the ELW area in the vicinity of a Lebanese merchant.
Oh, you mean Princess Cooper, I
Princess
believe.
Cooper, I
Uh-huh.
think Florence Princess Cooper or Princess Florence Cooper, something like that.
Okay. Yes, so I actually, I actually reviewed documentations regarding that because I was in the States, and her death case did not add up.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
The forensic telltale signs, the position, if you watch the video, you see she's laying down as if she's like she's sleeping in her bed,
Hmm.
where she'll be on her stomach, and then with her arms under her head. So nobody falls to their death in that position. So that tells me, one, that she was transported, and she was placed in that position by someone who was remorseful.
Hmm.
You know, now whether it was someone that caused her harm, or it was the people that were told to bring her body. And also, the bloodstains on her clothing clearly indicates that she was brought down a set of staircases.
Ah,
Yes.
I had a
So
suspicion.
yes, you see. But again, like I said, the problem is with standardized investigations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so she was also she was autopsy, but I don't think the autopsy, well, not I don't think the autopsy was incompetent.
I see.
It was said
And,
that she
and
had tuberculosis.
yeah, that's what they said, tuberculosis. But tuberculosis will not cause you to instantaneously die.
You're right.
Because I'm an investigator, crime scene investigator, and we have done that in the case of Malankolu. Malankolu is taking a famous lady, beautiful lady, is called to a certain event in Calcutta and taking to. I don't let to be personal in people in these kind of instances, and taking it to a rubber plantation where she was allegedly murdered. And the homicide division went there. We got pieces of evidence. And the pieces of evidence spoke to the fact that there was consecutive foul plays that led up to her untimely exit from life. There were prominent lawyers that came, but they could not refute the kind of evidence that were found with the head severed from the neck here and some parts missing. It brings me to the third question that I like to ask.
No, but you gotta wait. You gotta wait. We gotta go to the caller, Mr. Nipe.
Okay, caller came in. Okay.
So, Mr. Wulu, can you go to the caller because it's getting late in Liberia, so they can ask questions.
All right, so that's it, folks. We'll go back to the second part of callers and pick you up here this evening. You've been following the show. It's about time that we hear from you on the program that beg to differ. Number to put it through tonight 0776 105 105 881 143504. 0776 105 105 881 143504. Let's hear the lines open. It's about time that we go to the line and hear from you. Put a call in on 0776 105 105 881 143504. 0881 143504. And the number supported you and going to be live here this evening. Let's hear from you. The line is open. As we are waiting, we'll keep our team song rolling here this evening.
When the issues get hot, when the debates get tough, when opinions collide and the truth must rise, this is the program where voices are heard. I beg to differ.
0776 105 105 881 143504. 0776 105 105 881 143504. Let's hear from you.
Hosted by Sheku Koroma, co-host Archie Wright, produced by Alex D. Wulu. Every broadcast night from 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. The problem time is here. We connect with our media colleagues, cause that area
Let's get you on the phone line tonight 0776 105 105 881 143504. 0776 105 105 881 143504. Let's hear from you here on Top 105.3, the program at Better D4. 0776 105 105 881 143504. We're going to be live here tonight. Make a point, let's hear from you, right?
Mr. George Newbo, Fred the Veteran Smith.
So the veteran, can I go on with my third question? Because nobody's calling me.
Yeah, that's true, Mr. Nepi. I think we have to go on because nobody's calling phone line, so we just have to continue the show. If there's any other call coming in, then I'll hit you guys up.
Dr. Rockefeller Cooper, I know you were answering a question before you feel you want to complete that, and then we will go around before we come back to Honorable Nipe. Are you with us, Doctor? Okay,
Yes, sir.
you
Yes,
are
I'm with you.
answering a
So,
question.
yeah, no, what I said with regards to the Inja Topa case, because there was a long time ago, I had some documents on that from write-ups that I did, but there were issues within the investigation. You see, when we have these cases in Liberia, they are normally looked at based on affiliation, whether you for or against, in addition to whatever standardized practice that should be carried out to investigate. So do we treat it steamy hot, or do we treat it lukewarm or stone cold? This one is a situation that we faced with death investigations in Liberia. So that's why I was answering. But as a new question, then of course.
I wanted to go back to that question because I had interest in Princess because not only she was a beautiful female, but there
Princess
were
Cooper, okay.
Cooper, yeah, but it was two love, the Lebanese and the boyfriend who is happening to be Liberian. So my question to you, if you have to do it again, what would be the length of time you can go in cases when you can't go into? But do you think the Lebanese man was left off the hook?
Well, so I would say this: her death was questionable. It was not properly investigated. Maybe one of these days, what I would do is to actually, because I see, let me just toggle on the screen again. I believe I saw to where like if I wanted to present, I could present, right? Okay. Hold on once. I will have to do some editing of some photos, and then I could do a presentation and we could discuss that. We could discuss that case. So basically, here's what happened. Her body was brought down, and then blood was smeared around areas in the back of the yard. The problem, to make it seem like she was vomiting with blood. The problem here is that if indeed she was, let's say she had vomited with such huge quantity of blood, she would have passed out from loss of severe blood loss. Okay, so, and I have the pictorials to all of these. So and that's something that we can look at and discuss. But it did not make sense to say that her death was natural, or for anyone to believe that her death was natural. So, but here we are.
We'll let you do it, and then maybe on the Saturday show you can have time to work on cases that you think you can take all the important aspect from it and just give a short version of what your recommendation.
Yeah, so okay. Yeah, okay. So I will look, yes, okay, I will look for some stuff and we'll discuss maybe one or two cases. And go from there. So I will lay out, and then I'm sorry?
No, you continue.
No, I say yes, and then to discuss, so your listening audience can be ready to view and not just listen. Okay, and then we discuss.
That would be excellent.
come back to
Your
question.
line, wait, your line is
My,
breaking back. Say that
You're
again.
okay.
muffling.
My question to you would be: the government is planning one of our holiest burial ground, GEDEH Street, Street, where most people stay alive. They want to redesign that place. But my question is, they remain some of those people. Is there a way you can help government to see how we treat the dead of that place? Because we have some our historical former president, even my father remained stayed there. What advice will you give them?
Okay, so your line was breaking, but if I understood you correctly, did you say that the government is planning to what? Like to shut down one of the cemeteries?
The one on GEDEH Street, Center Street, burial ground, one of our older cemetery, and they
Yeah,
want to modernize it and make it into a place of peace, like a park, like what we have in New York. Where you can sit down, and monument would be, a monument would be there for people to go there. Names of loved one will go there. What would be your advice? How we move the remains of some people, if not all, from that place and take them somewhere?
Well, that would be somewhat out of my scope of operations. But usually when when you're doing a reburial, as in true exhumation, that is, there are steps to follow. So, but I'm not sure as to how that entire process is going to even work out, because the family members, what are they supposed to do when it's time for decoration day? So
Exactly.
yeah. So I'm not too sure. Now, in terms of, because you transporting remains, there will be public health issues. I think all of those need to be considered as well before anything is done.
So will the government want to do something unique, like remodify the place? Because right now, people are sleeping in the grave of the dead. They put in dumb that died on people remains. All of these things happening. Sleeping in the grave, moving the people. So some people feel that you will not find any remains there, but for the work that you do, I talked with Anderson. Anderson said, longer you can identify the spot, they can go there and find the remains of that person. So no matter how many years. So
Well, yeah, that's true. So we're not looking at exhumation for burial, but as far as coming, with the forensics, I don't see how that's going to be beneficial. Not unless it's something, maybe the entire, like if you're doing something, maybe if you have certain parties that are involved, but it's a bit of a challenge. We need to see the laws, regarding exhumations in Liberia. So yeah, so I don't want to say anything that would be misleading.
okay. So Mr. Nipper, you can ask your third question.
Well, I think that's a beautiful way to put it, because I don't know why the government is thinking that way, because there is not a structured way of burying people. Had been the way to bury people on Center Street. So if the government is thinking about that way, as it were, that you are demarcating between graves, that is a Herculean challenge, and I agree with Dr. Rockefeller. The laws and all the kind of intricacies we play a huge role. But that brings me to my third question. And the reason why I am bringing these unfinished cases is like here in the United States, you will agree with me, they call them cold cases. Cold cases, and investigators will run behind those cases to unearth the truth behind how this person died. because I'm of the stronger, not opinion, but conviction that people should not murder other people because of where they sit or because they are annoyed of a certain family, political reason, or what they may term. Um, let's get rid of him. Let's get rid of her. Because the moment you are there, you may do it. But if investigation, a thorough investigation were to be convened, perpetrators will come out and then the law will take its own course. And I even will annex that to one of your statements because of where the person is in society, their position, all the kind of thing. But speak to me, Dr. Rockefeller. I always call you my son when you come on the show, and please don't take offense.
No. It's fine.
Because it is a part of a part is a part of a whole, and the world is structured on that premise. And two, very importantly, whenever I see you, my mind will always run on my friend Rockefeller. Speak to me, Doc, on the three missing boys, if you were ever involved or have an inkling as to the
that was something that
let me say my question, sir.
Okay.
Any inkling on how they died? Because I am a layman, but
Yes.
from investigation, the definition of investigation is to find out by patient inquiry, observation, and the study of facts. And then we go by that logic and the circumstances under which the three missing boys passed. One will be dissatisfied the way the matter was disposed of. Allegedly that they were in a canoe. The canoe capsized. And the law of buoyancy tells us that any piece of wood, it is difficult for that wood to sink to the bottom of a river or even the ocean, because that's why the canoes will float. To this date, we don't know whether the canoes were found. To this date, it has not been conclusively said that they died as a result of water going into their nostrils. To this day, there is nothing definitive to explain to the Liberian people or to the parents so that they bring closure. And one of those persons that died is a cousin of my son, related to Dr. J. Bernard Blamo. General Blamo grandchild was one of those individuals that perished. So every time I think about these three cases that I have just raised, I don't want to conclude, but I suspect some foul play. And given the position of those concerned, those cases were swept under the carpet. Speak to me about these three missing boys, if you have any knowledge, to let the public know what transpired, how they died, the circumstances. Maybe you might not want to go into it, but you are an expert in the area. So please speak to me on that.
Okay,
speak to our radio audience on that.
Sure, thank you ever so much. So I did run a private investigation at the time that this case was being investigated.
Mhm.
and the bodies were not found. It is in my professional opinion that the body that was discovered and alleged to be that of, one second, please. And I'm saying 1 second because I want to make sure that I got the name.
Mhm.
To be the body of Siafa Boima Kone was the last name. I think it was an old body that was placed in that was placed in the river or the body of water. Now, I don't want anyone to say that I'm speculating. There was something that I put time into. So, um, Mr. Smith, is it possible that I can pull up an image here?
Yes, I mean, as what's his name, Mr. Wulu, our producer. Can you, when we send you something, can you help to put it also? Our special guest, Cooper,
I
can
want to
explain.
I want to be able to present it from my end, not to share, but
Oh,
where I'm here to share from my computer, and everybody will be able to see.
mm, is it possible, Dr. Wulu, that he can do it from his computer?
Maybe I've been showing a screen. That's the only way we can see
Okay,
it. But
yes, let me see something here quick.
Veteran Smith.
Yeah. So while you're looking at that, um, Mr. Wulu, you can play our theme song. We know how long it will take, but as soon he finds it, then you can just go to him.
Okay. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, do you see the picture of a body in the water?
Yes, with the left hand,
Well, actually the right hand. But
the right
okay,
hand.
so yeah, so I'm not going to go through other photographs that I have, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't want people to say, well, he just feeding us spider story tonight. Okay.
Mm.
So this alone, shows that what I'm saying has merit. Now, so like I said, this is supposed to be the body of Siafa Boima Kone or Kome as
Mm.
the last name. I'm not sure of the lie, but it was Siafa Boima. Now, the problem here is this body from other photographs of the body. I mean, what I mean is inconsistent
Mm.
with that of a person who have been submerged into a body of water for a very long time. It is in my opinion that it was an old body that was planted here. Okay. And the thing is, the government of Liberia did not do any forensic investigation to establish a relationship between this alleged body, okay, and that of the parents of Siafa Boima. So this is what we get into DNA. Okay, all of us have 23 pairs of DNA, meaning we have 46 DNA in our system. 23 from mother, 23 from father. So of course, 23 plus 23 gives you 46.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you
Mm-hmm.
hear people say you have 46 chromosomes or you have 23 pairs, all right, of chromosomes. So no testing was done. So there's no way to prove that his body was actually that of, yes, that of Siafa Boima. You see? Then the next thing that happened was those investigating at the time try to make it seem as if this was a matter of it was a matter of the canoe that had capsized and it got and basically the broken pieces were now stacked up for everybody to see, stack up on on the bank of the river for everybody to see. But that was basically from a wooden structure. Those were not it was not the wreckage of a canoe. So you can see how the investigation was derailed based on deception. You see, based on deception. So when people say that they found one on the body, and again, preempting from a forensic standpoint, I would say that this was done to make it seem like, okay, one body resurfaced, the other two did not. So you talk about buoyancy. A body does not, a person drowns, okay, the body does not remain underwater forever,
Completely.
okay? But in this case, we have one body that resurfaced. The problem with this particular body is that it is inconsistent with findings noted on that of a drowning person. You see? So because of that, I would say the investigation was botched. And I follow some of these cases. Um, Same way with the auditors, Gifty Lama and Albert Peters.
Mm-hmm.
I did a layer on this before. It was the same way that people were, I mean, people meaning Liberians. I'm saying people, and I'm not saying us Liberians because I'm too smart to have been fooled the way in which people were made a fool of. Okay. Um, the same thing happened. This young lady she was drowned to death and strangled basically while being drowned, that she was kicking into the sand, and that's how come the tip of her shoes were wet and sandy. Okay, so um, Albert Peters the same way.
Mm.
You know, they murdered them. She was placed into the vehicle first. Then then he followed as far as the body being placed into the car. Okay, then they
Planted.
drove plant. Yes, then the person drove the vehicle up on Broad Street and park it and left it there so that people would discuss. I mean, I've been involved in complex and cases, and I see these mistakes. Criminals make these mistakes all the time. You see, but to the untrained eye, everybody they're going haywire all over the place and not seeing what they're supposed to see simply because what the mind doesn't know, the eyes will never see.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I can go on and on and on, with
Mhm.
different cases.
So, Dr. Cooper,
Yes, sir.
with such value your expertise that we have here, why can the director of police or the government of Braca come call you and say these are unsolved cases? Can you help us? And if they would do it, in which manner would they have to approach you?
Okay, so your question two in one. So first of all, Mr. Smith, you need to realize that governments decide who they want to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing is people decide who they're comfortable dealing with. So based on that, I cannot answer some of the question like why, like I have not been contacted. Okay. But as a citizen of Liberia, it is my constitutional rights to secure gainful employment. So now that I'm established, I could if my services are needed, sure, I can serve as a consultant, and we can look into some of these. Look, these cases are simple cases. These cases are all simple cases, but they get blown out of proportion, they mishandle, and so the thing drags on forever. I give you an example. So I was in Liberia all in the month of December. I left December 29 and I got back in the state December 30th. And there were already 2 bodies waiting for me to have autopsied on December 31st, the last day of the year. You see, when you compare my my rate of operation, it takes the government a whole month to get to process autopsies being done. Okay. Whereas I'm able to perform an autopsy every single day. So basically, in all things considered, it is fair to say that as I am in the position to conduct post-mortem exams once a day for 30 days in a month, the government of Liberia has the tendency to conduct only 1 autopsy, or maybe let's say two or 3 autopsies within a whole month. So either way, I'm moving 10 times faster than they are. You see, because I have a system in place. You see, and I'm just one. The similarity is that the government of Liberia and myself, we are both okay. So
Okay.
yes. So but even though they're larger, but I'm still more efficient than they are, which to me is of grave concern because I'm just one person. They should have a whole network in place, But unfortunately, that is where we find ourselves. Yes.
So, Ellis, you have question? If not, we go to Mr. Nemo to ask a question. Ellis, you have question? Okay. If you do, let me know. So, Mr. Nemo. Mr. Nemo, are you with us? Okay.
So I guess I can.
So you getting me now, Mr. Ra?
Yeah. Come in.
I have a question. My question to Dr. Cooper is, he been talking about how they do their autopsy report in some of the BB cases in our country, Liberia. I want to know from your professional side, what you think would be some of the major mistakes, the people are making doing their investigation, and then how you think that we can work on these things that the public have holes in the law, so they can lose, trust in doing the investigation in our people who are doing it. My next question would be, with all of the experience you get, ASA, what you think the government can really do, that we can have a rifle team being done when it comes to the investigation into BB cases in our country?
Okay, so let me answer your question. The last one, what the government do? The government needs to hire
Ellis, your microphone. Close your microphone. Okay, continue.
Okay. The government of Liberia needs to hire people that are qualified. Okay, this is not a political thing where you must hire partisans or people who supported you during campaigns or people who are your friends. It's about performing a duty. So the government of Liberia needs to hire people who are qualified. Where you don't have the qualification, you can't do the job. That's just the summary now, and that's just the overall version, because qualification now, we'll have to look at it. Is it based on academic qualification, practical experience, a combination of the two? That's something to look at. Now, for your first question, just give me a recap on your first question again, please.
Ellis, your first question, just recap it.
You're muted.
Yeah, so you getting me now?
Yes.
My first question say you've been talking about how people are doing their autopsy report in our country and some of the mistakes they make. So what you think we can do so that the public can lose hope in the law?
Okay. So yeah, that's what I thought you asked. Both questions have the
You
same
can close
answer.
your microphone.
Sorry, I'm Mr. Smith. I can always forget.
Both questions, like I said, have similar answers. If you do not have the rightful people in place, you always have these issues. Look, you cannot keep doing the same thing over and over and then you expect to get new results. You cannot do it because scientifically you can never ever prove that. You see, why is it that I can sit thousands of miles away and I can put information together and come up with something logical? I was sitting in the United States of America when I was running this investigation with 3 missing boys. Okay. I saw the errors being made in broad daylight. Why was I able to do so? Because I had the requisite training to do so. So again, that's why when I spoke earlier, I talked about my ability to operate from the scene because we have the crime scene and we have the death scene. So this will be basically a death scene because there's no proof of the that a crime was commissioned here. Okay, so operating from the death scene to the post-mortem table. You see, so at least tonight, you know now that it's possible that the body that was suffered to be one of the 3 missing boys. I mean, there's no proof that that person was even one of them. And there's no proof because number one, the physical findings, there are other, and when I say the reason I'm saying the physical findings is because there are other photographs that I have. The physical findings points more towards an old abandoned dead body being dressed and planted as opposed to that of a person who had drowned. Okay. The next thing is no genetic work was done to say, okay, yes, this is the child of Mr. and Mrs. Boyman, or whatever his mother name would be, because she may not have been married. But I'm just saying, I don't require the time if they were. But bottom line is, you cannot establish a link scientifically. And number two, you cannot prove scientifically that indeed this young man, this is the body of one of the 3 missing boys who drowned. You see where I'm coming from, right? Yes. So, and this is how I approach other cases. Because for me, I lay out the fact. I don't do a lot of talking. I discuss the issue that matters. I lay out the facts. You see it, and then it's up to you now to see if you think you have what it takes to override the answer choices that are
So,
provided.
Dr. Cooper, saying you have some knowledge and you have some background in identifying that this ball that we see on the right of the photo couldn't be the same person. If you are called upon to continue on this work, is there's a time limitation? Do you think we can still get to the fact of this work and bring justice to the people who did it, or time have expired? Because the present police officer said he have local facts and he can't come up with any other thing. But looking at what you have done, I think this case will still be going on for finding what really happened to those missing boys. If so,
Yes.
if you called upon to do it, where will you start from first?
Okay. So first of all, looking at the information that I have, I don't think we're going to ever find the remains of the 3 missing boys. Yes, in my profession, because like I said, I only put this picture up so that people will not have doubts and think I'm just talking on this platform because I'm trying to make a name for myself. Okay, I have a barrage of other photographs, which was why I made the comment that I made. Okay, now with that being said, we must also take into account that time frame impacts investigations as well.
Mm-hmm.
There was no genetic work done. Also, where is this body currently? This body more than likely has been buried. You see what I'm saying, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, to logically for anybody to logically conclude this case, I will have a problem with that. And I don't think they have what it takes to convince me. So this is just one that's going to be in suspense.
Mm.
And it's
Yes.
going to be part of our court cases, as Honorable Nippy said. This will be like a court cases unresolved, but not that
Yeah.
it cannot be resolved.
So what we can do as well is, now let me ask you this: are you on every single night?
Yes.
Because what we can do is maybe once a week we can discuss a case, discuss circumstances around it, and just like that. So, for example, we go to like the auditors. We discuss that the death, why I think A is B and not A being A, or why B is C and not B being B. So we can look on
Mm-hmm.
that, because then you have your schedule as well, and see how we can put it in there and discuss these cases so that we can educate people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So will it just be education, or will it be bringing something to the end that will lead to the arrest
Well,
of these people who did
there's
injustice
no
to
no
our citizens?
no
No,
no. It won't be to
to arrest.
I mean to arrest. It will be just to educate. You see, so I don't work for the government of Liberia, right? So everything that I'm doing here is basically just from my own work. Okay. And then that's so once we have that into mind, so people don't think that, oh, there's because of what Dr. Kuba is saying, so now government to do X, Y, Z. The government
Mm-hmm.
library doesn't have to do anything.
So let me
Okay.
let me put this to you, and we'll go to Mr. Nimo for his question. If
Okay.
Liberians come together and say we have somebody that we can work with, and we selected you to work for us, and we put our resources together and have you work for us, is that something you're willing to undertake?
Oh yes, because my goal is to serve the Liberian people. So definitely that's something that I'm willing to do.
So that's something to think on. Mr. Nimo, any question? Nimo, are you with us? Okay.
Is the new boy Lola you going to sleep?
Follow a question, Mr. Nimo?
Well, I think Doc has done us a tremendous job from the well of experience, and for me, and I think those in the radio audience who have been thinking about Inja Taylor Toba and Florence Cooper and Gifty Lama, Abba Peters, and the list goes on. It is left with us now based on what he has said, because he has not told us there were foul play and all that kind of stuff. He just told us there were some errors, and we can take those pieces of information and form our own conclusion, because that's what an intellectual man will do. Based on what you get, you can say, well, I think this is what happened, because the one who has learned the science is telling us there were errors. The one who has learned the science is telling us that in the case of gifted, they must have submerged on the beach in the water. And so she was trying to kick the sand as how she was got, and she was placed in the car before Abbas Peter. And so we know in our society that these things very unfortunately occur for unspecified reason. Whether or not they did not want the audit report to have been exposed, whether or not in the case of Ms. Cooper, the Lebanese or Indian or Liberian men decided to just take her life because the fact that they got money. In the case of the three Mason boys, whether the circumstances under which they died were because people who sent them to go fix engine felt that they damaged the engine, and so they couldn't come back since they damaged the engine, or whether it is true that they did go actually to repair engine. So I would only like to thank Dr. Cooper and ask his permission to please stay with us on these kind of cold cases. Because if Liberia must be redeemed, if Liberia must be a refined society, if Liberia should be that society that sends the baton to the children in the back, as it were, a 440 reader from the come from the back and take Liberia forward, I encourage him to do that which we could not do. We only had this police academy knowledge. What the white people will tell us, when you're investigating body, you go to the scene, you conserve or preserve the scene, you do measurement, you do photograph. Don't put yourself as part of the bodies or the contents within the investigative scene. You don't touch anything. You make sure that everything you're doing according to science of homicide investigation. And I want for him to move on that point where he say he would like to train people, police officers. And I don't know why they call it the CBS or CB, whatever, because it will be the Criminal Investigation Division. Yes, where crimes are, I don't know what that acronym means. Where crimes are committed that transition a human being from being in the state of being to expired. I think the government should lay premium on that for the qualified personnel such as Dr. Cooper to probe into the kind of cases, to rein into such cases and bring us back to allay the fears, apprehension, and satisfy those who are aggrieved. Because I believe strongly in the Bible, no one has any authority to take another human life. Whether you were vexed, whether you did something wrong, whether you are in authority, whether you are a king, you are a president, no one has absolutely any right to take a person's life. And they will be asking the question, why is Mr. Nepe saying this? Because the Bible supports my point. The fifth commandment supports my point. Thou shalt not kill. And this is why I think this young man Dr. Cooper, as he said, based on the circumstances of his mother's death, he had to dive into this science. And the government should show appreciation for Dr. Cooper. And when this kind of incident, unclear incident happened, that one of our citizens expired in unusual circumstances, Dr. Cooper should be called upon. I will encourage from the presidency or from the justice minister to the president's office or from the police director, when these kind of things happen, he will not be doing it for millions of dollars. He will be doing it because he has the requisite competency, the requisite knowledge to do this kind of thing, to clear the air of foul play and say John Doe died because of natural death, and whereby or wherein another coroner or another forensic doctor were to come in and hired by the family, they will come to the conclusion or the conclusive analysis that Dr. Cooper has made. So I want to thank Dr. Cooper because I think when Mr. Nubo is now on the show, I want to thank him so much. And I want to thank my friend for ensuring that his son will not only go into the medical science, but will come out as a forensic expert or somebody who has the requisite knowledge and experience to help Liberia at this point in time. Dr. Cooper, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I am more than happy that my friend's son has done this kind of profession. My son is in the heart area. And I got two daughters who one is a BSN and the other one is an RN. When minds like you or renown or excellence like you, a Liberian. I remember one doctor who was a pathologist, a professor at the AMD College of Moses.
Yes, Dr. Moses.
Right. That you can step in this shoe for at this present time. And I hope the government is on an extreme responsibility to use your expertise so that you cannot come up with this dream of opening a third eye pathological consultancy or whatever name is it, but the third eye. Government, the Ministry of Justice, the Liberian National Police Force, if they are in their minds clear on establishing why people die in Liberia under mysterious circumstances, they will do well to call on you to provide our people the kind of expertise that you have. Thank you so much for coming on our show. And like the veteran request, please honor our request every other fortnight or every other week. You can come on the show.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Doc.
Thank you ever so much for the kind words. Yeah. So, Mr. Smith, I think this is how, for me, I would like to wrap things up. And like I said, I will be bringing little clips here and there, which also ties in with what you had asked earlier about the type of work that I've done in the past. I worked in silence, but I've been working as well. Mm-hmm. So we will, discuss some of these cases and shared light. Mm-hmm. So that people will understand. Since you're in the Southeast, we will also be looking at I think it's the Leva Kufa, a little boy that drowned in the lake. I always get these lakes mixed up. I don't know if that one if that's Piso or Shepherd.
If they're in the south, if they're in the south, it will be Shepherd.
Shepherd, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
in the western area, it will be Lake Piso.
Okay, Shepherd, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, the way how we discuss some of these cases, because the thing about death investigation, you must be able to connect the dots.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't connect the dots, it's like the puzzle book, then things will not show.
Exactly.
Won't be a clear, yeah. So yeah, but okay. So I guess that's it for me as far as me to
You
jump on
can give
tonight.
your closing comment or closing remarks, and then we call it for a day, and we'll have you
Sure.
back when we can agree on the time.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So once again, like I said before, Third Eye is now in Liberia, or it now has a footprint in Liberia. So we have turned a new page, and I'm here for my Liberian people. So
Mm-hmm.
if you have any issues, that you need clarity on, if you feel some kind of threat, whatever it is, you can reach out to me. There's something that we can discuss. If your loved one passed away and you're not satisfied with the circumstances of death, maybe they took you something to the hospital that didn't make sense, we can discuss it. And then, you put it before the people in your town, everybody will be willing to sell one chicken, who knows, and then we can be able to address um, your concerns. So, with that being said, that's it for me.
Mhm.
That's it.
And please convey my regards to your dad.
Yes, I will.
I
Yeah.
forgot to put a question, but you can put it in your comment and closing. When it comes to death, how you feel?
Yeah, I was asked the same question the other day. Well, so death is part of life. It is inevitable, so once we are born, the journey begins, and the journey must end. Okay. So, but I think about death every day. I come up with all kinds of scenarios in my head. But it's something I can't do anything about it. But I'm very conscientized though. I think about death every single day, every single day. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but I've been doing this for a while. But sometimes, you just ask yourself, what keeps me going? Because I tell you, the human body is nothing. You know, yeah, you're not working on a person who do everything for themselves. Now that person is just laying there. You just have the body, which the body is just like an empty shell. It's like we have this element in us called life that keeps us going.
Mm-hmm.
But if that bulb goes off, that's it. Yeah.
For sharing your knowledge, your expertise, your company that will be coming. Whenever we can be a help to you, feel free, and we'll surely work with you. If we can do Saturday and make Saturday special, but we'll also do weekly, maybe for 30 minutes every night or one
Okay.
hour or whatever we agree upon. But if we can honor this Saturday and make it like a big Saturday where everybody can come and when you can adjust everything that you can discuss, we'll make it a big Saturday. So we'll talk
Okay. Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. We'll discuss it because I remember what I think I told you earlier when we spoke, right? So tomorrow and Saturday I'm going to be tired to an extent, but let's see.
Okay.
Let's communicate and see what we can do, even if it's for half an hour or so, to see what can be done. Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming and thank you for contributing to Mother Liberia because
Mm-hmm.
you could have looked at this as a way to make money. and forget about all of us. But you're looking as a way, a contribution to give back to Mother Liberia. So
Yeah.
we are happy. And the question that I asked you, I'm willing to do that. Maybe come up with citizen group that will put money together and ask you to file one case at a time until we can solve all the cases. Since we know we have
Yeah,
somebody to work with.
yeah, that's something. And for example, you see how I answer a lot of questions tonight. In radio land concerning the three missing boys. You see,
Mm-hmm.
because the body is not consistent with someone who drowned, but the body appear all of a sudden to make it seem like okay, at least like, as an anchor of hope. Like okay, one body appear, maybe another body will resurface tomorrow. You know, which is not the case. So yeah, I think I mean Liberia deserves better, and Liberia can indeed do better, but it's all about the will of the people.
Thank you
So
very much.
yeah,
Thank you very
but
much.
okay, yeah. So
Okay.
we'll be in touch. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Have a wonderful night, sir.
So, Mr. Nipper, you can get your closing comment. Oh, you be the last because you won't put in colloquia.
Mm-hmm.
So I will make you the last because Mr. Nomo now with us. And
Mr.
and,
Smith, mommy,
and
ask me whether you can eat meat.
if I can eat what?
Meat, mommy, ask me whether you can eat meat.
Uh, it depends what kind of meat.
So you
But
don't eat cow meat?
eat
Nah,
cow meat.
let me
You
see.
don't
She
eat
have
fully
another
talker?
question. I think this question she referring to you. She said you are one of the first person who have expressed your sentiment and outline reason why Liberia named the expertise of Dr. Cooper. Say as a man.
Yeah, Mr. Nippy helped me. And I think what I need to do now is to bring people together and put our 1 or 2 cents together, and we can utilize it. Now we know who we have. Now we got to put our resources together, as he stated, that he can do it sometime, but not all of the time. He have to survive. So we put our resources together, and when we reach short, then that when the veteran will come in to talk to him to reach the finish line. So the communities, I know in Grand GEDEH there's a case of a boy or man or a young person, he passed away. That's a cold case having been resolved. Maybe we can use uh, Dr. Rockefeller Cooper to help her in that case. If you in other county, you have a case that haven't been solved, we can do the same thing too to help. So we finish with one county, go to another county until we go through all 15 counties of Liberia. So that's something we learned today, that we can do it, but we have to come together. So thank you, Mamiata, for giving me the compliment, but
Oh,
also for you.
okay. Mr. Smith, she said that question was for Dr. Cooper whether he can eat meat.
But tell her that the Cooper will come on Saturday, and
Ah.
that question will be asked. So now our closing remarks. Uh, for me, it's been the opening hours for me as a moderator of the show today. And sometimes you come up with a show, you don't know how it will go and how it will end. But then today's show ranked among the veteran top show that he had produced all during his life, because it's helped to
I
bring
think I never do
information.
those things there.
It bring information that will help our people to come to a conclusion of cold cases that they've been wondering so for their loved one, They've been crying for the loved one, and we have somebody that can help her in that. So that would be my closing remark. And tomorrow, we will be having a special guest, Dr. Samuel Reeves from the President Baptist Church. And he also head of the Liberia Council of Churches. He will be our second half guest at 10 o'clock. Our first guest will be the Alumni Association of St. Patrick and Convent. They're trying to open St. Patrick, and I want for them to help us understand how they were able to raise money together to rebuild St. Patrick that is coming to a point where students coming into St. Patrick won't have to pay a dime. So I want to bring them on tomorrow to break the news. So the veterans have been in touch with them. They're having their convention, Memorial Weekend in Detroit, Michigan. So we want them to come here first to give us that. So that's our show for tomorrow. So Mr. Nippy, we'll give it to you.
On that veteran, before I close up on that, I think we have done ourselves this service.
Can use the restroom.
Yeah, because this service in that you cannot build your house and somebody steal it from you and you go build another house somewhere. You cannot do that. The SMA, and I've been discussing that with my classmates and other people, the SMA fathers decided to buy that land purposely for a saint, naming order of a saint, Patrick. Unfortunately, we had Sister Lorraine to just honor some magical thing to take the entire compound. I spoke with Alexander Kojo Anderson before his passing. In fact, he visited me where I had as a safe house. And Mr. Anderson told me that the bishop has said St. Patrick's was there forever and will have given the school back. And so I don't understand why a new school was built. If Convent is there for 1937, 36, 37, or 35, Convent is still standing there where it is, where it has been. Why should St. Patrick go to Pinsville and whereas its campus is there? If I were the president of the association, I would raise that matter so high because I have brought that matter to the attention of Monsieur Robert Batiatipo, and he was in complete agreement with me. And I brought it to the attention of Edward Jackson, Monsignor Edward Jackson. I brought it to the attention of Monsignor Charles Boggs, and they were all in agreement with me. And why I served the Catholic Church as the chairman on the organizations in the church. And I raised that in one of our council's meeting. And everybody said that St. Patrick should not be where it is. The Saint Lady destroyed St. Patrick Elementary. And then she went on as a Reverend Mother to go and destroy St. Patrick, changing hands from Don Bosco to Stella Maria, and now it is called Spirit. So all of us have made a mistake. All of us have made a mistake. Like somebody come and take Liberia and say, okay, we'll give you another country. And that's what happened to St. Patrick's. I think she should move to that new school and let the campus be taken over by St. Patrick's. That's what I would say. They're coming.
Mr. Nippy, we had a better option this time would be a stakeholder in the new St. Patrick that we wouldn't have had if we had gone through the old order. We would be stakeholder. It won't be just the Catholic Church. We'll be working with the Secretariat. So you will have us in this whole process who will bring as teacher, who will bring other things who will have a voice in it. So this is better deed. Sometimes when you do things to change it around, another door open for us. I've never thought
Everybody
we'd be a
agree to
stakeholder.
the point, Mr. Smith. It is just a way of saying, biblically, we're selling our birthright. There's nothing wrong with St. Patrick's. Absolutely nothing wrong with St. Patrick. The scene from 7 to 12 grade can operate there. The scene from 7 to 12 can operate there. The point I'm making here is that the SMA father from Ireland, Bishop Collins, saw the need to open a school for poor children. So they had St. Patrick Elementary as like the nursery to feed St. Patrick High School. The sister went and broke that down and brought it to Cathedral, which was not proper. The same sister comes again to her second idea and then throws the sin out. Now, what's the correlation between a Reverend Mother who is not a sin and then you have a sin to be disposed of his campus? It makes no sense. But anyway, you people decided to say, well, let's set our birthright for a muscle or me.
Well, you can come tomorrow and ask questions to them.
No, I've always talked that with Patrick Burroughs. I've always talked that with Evan Yancey. I don't see the logic behind it at all. It's like your house. You should put your children in a house in Basel community.
And the person did it was Bishop Francis.
Bishop Francis on record, according to the assistant principal for St. Patrick High School, Alexander Kojo Anderson, peace be to his ARCHIE. I come on one of my visits and Kojo said there was a tip. I've just named three persons who felt that the school should not move from that campus. Their preferences were that Sister Lorraine go to the new school and St. Patrick gain its prominence. St. Patrick, you're a veteran journalist. Where did you come from? Hear me here, I'm a diplomat, a former diplomat. Where did I come from?
St. Patrick.
From St. Patrick. Didn't you go to that campus? You went to school on that campus. Your history is on that campus. The University of Liberia, when it was Lab High, the teacher to the University of Liberia, it is still the campus. When Tower decided to expand it,
General for the Alumni Association.
You the Secretary General?
Alumni, Secretary General of St. Patrick Alumni Association. Honor Mr. Kedebeku. He was the president. ARCHIE Kuma nominated me. He wanted to see young people playing active. And it was during my administration that I brought in where people can go to, different alumni to provide employment. I did it under my reigns as Secretary General. So we went to Brunskin Hospital, and they helped, and went to other places too. Went to.
And you know that Dr. Bromsky graduated from St. Patrick High School?
Yeah, and his children there.
And he graduated from that campus. We're talking about history. We're talking about history. You have the Chief Justice of Liberia, Chief Justice Balazer from St. Patrick High School, Dr. Boma from St. Patrick High School, Dr. William Harris from St. Patrick High School, Boniface Balazer from a neurosurgeon from St. Patrick High School. You know, So I think the thinking, something wrong with the thinking wrong. You said the new building here for St. Patrick. Then the people ask you, but what happened to that campus? Why did you leave the campus? The structure is there. So the point I'm making is if people can still have school there and they call it university, then they go to ELWA and let the school possess its original place. That's why the SFA father, that was their dream. And don't forget, the person in whose honor that school was named was a saint. So you dislodge the sin. You abdicate the sin. You throw him under his own campus and you send him to go have room to another place. We have to be logical in all of these things here.
Mr. Napier, we fought a good fight. And
you didn't fight a good fight. If you want to fight the fight, we can refight the fight. We can refight the fight with Bishop, with the new Bishop Jewel. And tell Bishop Jewel we want the woman to go to the new school. It's not late.
What we have done to keep all the scene ComSci, all of the boys entering St. Patrick, they won't have to pay for anything. But now,
yeah, but you can do the same thing on the King campus.
What we use now for the criterion for them to enter, they will have their own. We'll give them laptop, and the whole place will be Wi-Fi when you come on the campus. So we'll do all of that. You don't have to pay
all that is good. All that is good, but we sold our birthright. That's all I'm saying. But let leaders in Patrick think when they come, will not go that far with themselves. We want to talk to our people. Thank you so much. We had a distinguished, a very learned young man in the person of Dr. Rockefeller Cooper Jr. My dear brothers and sisters in Radio Land, you have had cases of mysterious deaths in our country. A man is walking from the nightclub in the night or coming from the theater in the night, a female that is, and then they are found elsewhere deceased. A boy is playing within the neighborhood and enters a certain person's home, and that boy never makes an exit. A girl is walking in the community, so happy that she's trying to say hi to people, went to visit a friend. On her way back, she never gets home. It troubles the Liberian people. And God, in his infinite perfection, wants to bring closure to all of these cases. And so the veteran, his name is Frederick, but he calls his short, he says Fred V.B. Smith Jr. thought it wise to bring on board someone who has expertise in the sciences, specifically to find out how John Doe Sonta Mary died. So he will be on the show regularly to educate us on what happened to the person, how it happened, and why it happened, so that we can bring closure to all of the cases. My people, your hello, one of your son, he named Dr. Cooper. Dr. Cooper is study medicine. He's a doctor. Then he go behind that one there. He's the one who can find out when somebody they chunk the person with rock and that the rock kill the person. Dr. Cooper can say, no, the person here not die. God take the person. God take the person because the rock will hit the person here. If they want to blame somebody, they say, oh, the person the one that that use knife. That a couple can say, yeah, the knife that you use, it hurt the man, but it was not the one that killed the man. So we got the person that we said, we told all the Liberian people, our own is to make you to understand what your country need, how your country is supposed to go. So Mr. Smith decided to talk with him, the doctor here. So the doctor agreed, yeah, the doctor will be coming on the show. So we want to thank you so much. We asked him plenty of questions, but none of y'all asked him any question. And I think next time when he come, you might put your one or two questions together so y'all can understand too. So we thank you all for listening to. I can't accept everything what you say. Myself, I get my own part to say. That's what they call I beg to differ. And I want to thank the veteran journalist Smith. And I want to thank you, Mr. Alex Ulu, for sitting in there in the studio and bringing onto the video line our voices. I salute everyone, and I call it a night.
Don't forget about April 14. You say you're going to combine it.
Oh. And now we'll talk about that other one where my people, you know, but where in Rubio, the man named was Gabriel Backup Matthew, that one woman and son. And the thing what was happening in the country, the man in Lekki, they were talking about some people big and some people small. So he make bring some Liberian people together, and they have the company called PAL. The English way they call it a Progressive Alliance of Liberia. And the problem that time was for arrest business. The people say, and the arrest business, the press arrest. It was from $26, they want to make it to 27 or more than that. So on April 14 come, 1979, 20 people died. Trouble a friendship with Sekou Touré, that time that the president of Guinea. Another one where we're talking about, say, he owned land in Liberia. Sekou Touré never do that in there because Sekou Touré know the land. They call man to play there for Guinea and Liberia. So they make that agreement, then they get a soldier to come. And when the soldier come now, things chakra, things spoil. They kill some people. Then the PAL come, they demonstrate in the night, they want to demonstrate in the night. But when the morning time come, oh, everything spoiled. It was the next year, 1980, then Mr. Doe, the soldier man, the master sergeant, with Thomas Watson, Nicholas Podia, Yara Komba, and all the people there, they come and they take over the government and our power. Our power that time, William Tubber, Woman Tubber, who would wear the white suit with the white stick in your hand. Then they came. It was from that rest business. So we want to let you know your may be rest farm. Your may be rest farm. So we can't have the problem again because Pusawa now better than our country rest. And every day we get rest from different countries to come to our country here. So I thank you. We thank you. Mr. Rice, thank you to you. Mr. Smith say thank you to you. Mr. Nubo say thank you to you. Then we got another right again. He say thank you. Then Mr. Ellis say, yeah, thank you. You might be asking questions. Because today's show, you don't have no question from the man who will find out why the KD person here. So you're good now. You're good now. All right, Alex, you can take over now, and thank you so very much for the time you always take to produce the show. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure.
The veteran.
What's going on?
Look at that.
We know who go in the Champions League. Barcelona or Real Madrid or
Veteran run away.
No, I'm here. When it comes to
Veteran, you run away.
no, I'm here. Let me show you my picture. I'm here.
Okay, I want to say thank you in a public manner for the invitation extended me. I see why you are calling me, but please don't call me around by 5:30. I'll pray that time. Yeah. You can be. King said, anybody you call me 5:30, you will not get me. Sometimes you call me 9 o'clock. You can't get me. 9 o'clock in the morning. So me, I like to pray. So don't call me every morning when I pray, then you don't do, you don't disturb me too much.
So all in the morning, just pray, you can be praying.
Oh man, nothing enter heaven but a pure in heart. And my grandmother, Margaret Johnson from Johnsonville, they say nothing enter heaven but a pure in heart. So me, I let her pray, Because I know why the woman will come call my rope. Wait.
So go I put in for prayer for tomorrow morning.
Oh, why you think you are all right today? You are all right today because we pray.
Ready to leave.
Yeah, but you're finished?
Yeah.
On a radio show. Why you think you were all right today? I was praying for you the time you were calling me. I said, look at them man here. You're wasting time.
Thank you for praying.
Prayer is the key to everything. When faith unlocks the door. Chief. What happened? You finished?
So, Mr. Wood,
But you finish where?
so who will win the Champions League?
Well,
You have Atletico Madrid.
from PSG,
Check that car, make sure you're good before you proceed.
Who Bayern Munich playing who?
You give me a hard time.
PSG.
That's a tough game.
That's why you want something done.
So Arsenal and
I will
Atletico
be on you
Madrid.
until
Not just a tough game, but that's the final.
So, Mr. Nippy, you can have a chance to be part of the World Cup. Go.
All right, Chief. Tomorrow.
Okay.